Alright, Jurgen, we've had some wild moments of late, blowing that 3-0 lead to Kashiwa Reysol, then bouncing back strong against Kawasaki Frontale.
Absolutely. It's been a real roller coaster. That Kashiwa collapse was brutal, but taking down Frontale was exactly the response we needed, and we've done well since then. Now we've got Consadole Sapporo, our bogey team, up next, and Albirex Niigata breathing down our necks in third.
Big games, big stakes. Let's keep our focus and push on. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 15 of Red Bull KloppBot here on Sean Does FM with Omiya Ardija. I hope you're doing well, and coming up today we're going to try and get some revenge finally on Consadole Sapporo, because so far we haven't beaten them in this save, and off the back of taking on a team that we probably should beat even though it is away from home. In FC Tokyo, we'll take on Albirex Niigata, who currently are all the way up in third. So if you're looking forward to those two games coming up in today's episode, then do make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up, all that good stuff on this video. But at the end of last week, we did take on Kashiwa Reysol as well as Kawasaki Frontale. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. It was quite an entertaining episode, especially if you like big bottle jobs, because boy oh boy, we pulled one off in the first game, going from 3-0 at halftime to losing 4-3 to Kashiwa. Thankfully, bounced back against the defending champions and picked up a 2-0 win. So it still did mean we were on top of the J1, but didn't miss a chance there to extend our gap on top of the table. Since then, only played 2 games, first up the second leg of a second round clash in the J League Cup. It was a goal-heavy game, 6-4 win over Ahime from down in J3. That backed up our 4-2 first league win, so we go for in the end relatively comfortably 10-6 on aggregate, but again, a little bit leaky there in terms of our defence. To be fair though, with that 2-goal advantage from the first league, never really felt like we were in too much danger of blowing that, albeit off the back of that Kashiwa Reysol game. That might be a little bit silly from me, but thankfully made our way through there to the next round, where we will take on Kashiwa Reysol yet again in the round of 16. So hopefully a chance for us there to bury those demons from that game at the end of last week. To be fair, there is a big gap between those two leagues as well. One game in the middle of May, the other about a month later. And off the back of that, we were back into the J1, took on Consadole Sapporo and picked up a 3-1 win again. We conceded quite early there through Ryo Jermaine at the 15-minute mark, but thankfully just before halftime, the Yokoyama, he picked up a goal, and Yukotomo, he came off the bench and picked up a double to make sure that we picked up 3 points. So thankfully our form off the back of that collapse last week has gone back to regular programming here at Omiya Ardija. So it does mean currently we are still on top of the J1, but these days just by that 1 point because of that bottle job that we did have, and that is over Kota Sanga a few points further back to Albirex Niigata and Kawasaki Frontale, Yokohama Marinos, Avispa Fukuoka, and Consadole Sapporo not too far behind them. So quite tight there from third all the way down to about 11th on that J1 table, which is one of the reasons I thought we might come back and try and beat Consadole Sapporo again here in the first game of today's episode instead of take on FC Tokyo. To be fair, there's not that much difference between those two teams, only 1 point, but hopefully with this one being at home, we can finally beat these guys and extend our gap on top of the table, and then we'll come back and take on the team who currently sit in third. They actually did just beat Consadole Sapporo and Albirex Niigata, whose recent form has been quite good. 3 wins as well as a draw. That loss did come in the second round of a J League Cup clash with the Yokohama F Marinos, only predicted to finish 7th, but they are up in third. Their captain, Ryosuke Kojima, is their goalkeeper. Let's just actually click on him once I can. There he is. The 29-year-old does look pretty decent. Quite a few good attributes there for in between the sticks. The vice captain, that would be Fumiya Hayakawa, who is a right back come left back come centre back. As you can see, very versatile, can play pretty much anywhere there in the defence. And again, a couple of quite handy attributes there in first touch and anticipation. The 32-year-olds, to be fair, those physicals could be something hopefully we can make the most of in that second game. Toki Nagakura, he's the key player though, a right winger come striker. He looks handy, but still probably not as good as some players at teams that we have taken on late last week in the likes of Kawasaki Frontale. So hopefully can pick up a couple of good results here during the course of today's episode and extend our gap on top of the league to further than just that 1 point. Thankfully, we've got no injury concerns as well heading in to today's episode. Just our backup goalkeeper, Tomoki Tagawa, who has come back recently from a fractured lower arm. So thankfully back to having 3 goalkeepers here at Omiya Ardija. That might mean he can play some cup football when we next get into that against Kashira. So hopefully he'll help us actually not concede so many goals in a second half of a game. But hopefully going to be ready here to just put the foot down, unlike we did at the end of last week, and extend that gap on top of the table. Hopefully starting off by finally getting one over Consadole Sapporo. And here are the team sheets for the first game of today's episode. A little bit of a revenge clash for us here against Consadole Sapporo. Yet again, we've gone with our best 11, everyone fit and everyone fresh. Hopefully these guys can get the job done. There's Consadole Sapporo, not in that good a form and still going with quite a defensive formation. But obviously, this is about now the 5th time we've taken these guys on and we're yet to beat them. So hopefully this will be the day in front of our home fans as we look to extend our gap on top of the table. And just shot the 10-minute mark, first highlight of this game here. It is a free kick to the away team. They take that one somewhat shorter. Sano squares it for Guy Mbenza, who puts it away. We'll just wait and see, though, if he was offside. But if he wasn't, that's some pretty sleek defensive work from us. They're raising their arms. The goal's been awarded. What on earth is it about this team that just makes us bottle things? To be fair, we have been conceding goals quite early recently. This might be becoming a little bit of a theme, but also so is not beating these guys, which is a bit concerning. He just stays on side there. Did think for a minute that looked a bit too good to be true. Unfortunately, he just stays astride on. And again, we go 1-0 down early. And we've done a wee while for the next highlight of this game, just past the 25-minute mark here, and we were on the attack, but unfortunately Consadole Sapporo, they can clear their lines here, make their way into our half, albeit not for too long. Hirano plays that one back in there, and now Nakamura gets pressed a little bit there, probably by Konashida, but unfortunately they are back on the attack there. A chance there for them to try and put that one top right corner, but thankfully it just goes wide, so we can get a goal kick, which we do see. Higashi plays that one out short. Hopefully can now go down the other end and try grab it equaliser. But as I said earlier, we are conceding the first goal quite a bit recently here with the Red Squirrels, so maybe that's something we need to see if we can fix. Good chance here. Some lovely passing, and Fuki Yamada will put that one away. I'm sure he was onside. That will make it 1-1. Some beautiful passing there to work it in to Yamada. Puts it away top left corner to make it 1-1. Except the goal's been disallowed because Kinoshita goes offside. I don't think he was involved in this. Interfering with the goalkeeper, I guess. That is absolutely rubbish. Oh dear, he's nowhere near the net. I'm not sure how that's being called, but that is a gutting blow because that really should have been 1-1 just before half-time. Unfortunately, we're still a goal down, about to make our way into a couple of minutes here of added time. Only one. Feel a bit robbed after that because that's the only thing I can think of there. Kinoshita must have been called for interfering with the goalkeeper. I don't really know how. He's on a 6.4 though. We'll take him off for Yokoyama. Also, Yukotomo can come on for Fukuyama. A couple of players out there on 6.4s. We'll tell the guys just need to be a bit better in the second half. A bit harshly, we're 1-0 behind. And we don't have to wait long here at all for the first highlight of the second half. Free kick here in our favour, and that one gets saved, or it comes off the woodwork, to be fair. Didn't quite see how that didn't make its way into the back of net, but Consadole Sapporo, they can scramble that one away. We're starting to get on the front foot, but so far, just the one shot on target. Not too sure if this is a position where it will change, and unfortunately, Lee Hunju's free kick, that one goes over the top. We make our way up to the hour mark, still 1-0 down. And just about to sneak our way here into the last 20 minutes of this game, a corner in our favour. Unfortunately, can't find anyone there at the near post, but Saito pulls that one back for Daisuke Matsumoto. Our centre back will rifle that one into the bottom left corner. That makes up for that bad decision in the first half from the VAR, which cost us a goal surely. That was David Coote or something, considering that we all know he doesn't like Jurgen Klopp. But thankfully, that's a goal that can't get ruled out. Nice finish that from Matsumoto. Definitely not the source that we expected, but that makes it 1-1, albeit only a few minutes later, there is a throw. It took a while there for me to be able to see who that was to. Thankfully, it's to us. We start to make our way there into their half, but unfortunately, give the ball away. But good work there again from Matsumoto this time in defence. Now, Unholody switches his way out to Figueiredo down our right-hand side, up there to Yukotomo, who gets brought down, and that should be a stone-cold penalty, unless David Coote does really hate us in the VAR box for this game. Let's see what is going to be happening for this one. Thankfully, maybe they've switched the VAR there at halftime. They finally sacked him because it's a penalty, which hopefully here will put away through Lee Hyun-ju. Goes straight down the middle and rifles that one into the back of net. Just like that, we go from 1-0 down, taking a 2-1 lead. Evan Dimas has dropped down to a red heart. So probably off the back of this, we'll bring on Shimoda in his place. But thankfully, we've got a quick fire double there and lead Consadole Sapporo for one of the rare times so far in this save. I think we'll just save our last 2 subs up here the last 20 or so minutes of this game. But thankfully, we're now a goal in front. Albeit a few minutes off back of that penalty, now is a throw in here for Consadole Sapporo inside the final third. Someone goes down there, but thankfully no pen given, a chance for us here to try and hit them on the counter attack. Nice pass forward there from Shimoda for Unholy. Unfortunately, don't quite deal with it, and they hit us on the counter attack, and Guy Mbenza will put that one home. They're blaming Core, but I'm not too sure what happened here. This pass up from Shimoda to Unholy. The pass was on the money, but a bad first touch there. And then a flick on Matsumoto. He stuffs up that time, and Mbenza, he can just get there on the wrong side of Core, puts that one past Nagashi. And unfortunately, it's back to 2-2. Will that goal that got ruled out in the first half prove costly? Now Saito, he drops down to a red heart. To be fair, not too sure if we've got too many good bench options to come on for him. Urakami can kind of play defensive midfielder, but not too sure if he's the best option, especially as Saito actually is going quite well. So I think still going to save these last couple of subs up for the remainder of this game. But unfortunately, now we're locked up at 2-2. And only a few minutes on from that equaliser now to Consadole Sapporo. A few players have dropped down to red hearts, including Matsumoto. So we're going to take him off here for Urakami. We've got one more sub which we can make, and Kanade's out there on a 6.5 at left back. So I think we're going to take him off here for Shunya Suzuki. Hopefully some of those players can help us try and pick up a winner. Still locked up at 2-2 as we make our way to the final 10 minutes of this game. A throw for us now inside the final third. Figueiredo finds Lee Hyun-ju, but unfortunately, a bit loose there on the ball in Consadole Sapporo. They can start to launch a counter attack. Surely they can't beat us again. It's been happening way too much in this save, even for a decent mid-table team here in the J1. Thankfully, we clear that one away. Now get a chance ourselves here on the counter-attack. Yokoyama starts to make his way forward. Squares that one. Not too sure who for, because unfortunately, need to pull that one back a bit further. But we get the ball here inside the final third. And Haloti, nice ball forward there for Yokoyama. But unfortunately, I think the assistant referee there did put their flag up. Hopefully, it won't be the case, especially considering how dodgy VAR has been so far in this game. And unfortunately, David Coots back. He disallows that goal. Let's see what happened here. And Haloti takes the touch. And unfortunately, he just takes one step too soon. Was pretty close there to being onside, but that goal won't count that time. Actually understandable. So maybe David Coote, still locked out there of the VAR box, can't make decisions like he did in the first half for that goalkeeper interference. Let's see what happens here. Consadole Sapporo on the attack, but good interception that from Haloti. But then he tries to beat 2 men. Not a good idea. He gets sandwiched out of it there, and Consadole Sapporo, they get back on the ball. But be fair, so far, we are keeping them nice and deep here inside of their own half. But let's just hope we can at least get something out of this game, because then we'll at least keep pace with Kota Sanga and not be too far behind. But that's a terrible pass that from Figueiredo. Thankfully, the shot goes straight into the path of Higashi. But boy, oh boy, we're trying to lose this game late. We're just about to make our way here to the last 5 minutes of added time. Let's see if anything happens here. A couple of players are now dropping down to some pretty deep red hearts, but unfortunately, it's a 2-2 draw. I'm going to blame David Cook, because seriously, that goal that got ruled out in the first half, I don't really know how much interfering with the goalkeeper did go on there. Let's actually watch this. I'm dead annoyed about it. Let's wait for it to load up. You're going to have to see the whole highlight again, even from the goal kick from the chance that Consadole Sapporo did have before this. But some nice work from us here, just making our way out from back. Here's where it kicks into gear after Anhaloti. He starts to go forward down this left-hand side. Dimas to Lee Hyun-ju to Yamada. He's not even standing in a position where he's in line with the goal. That is a ridiculous decision. I'm filthy. I might check the KloppBot about that one. That's a bad call. Unfortunately, I think it's cost us there a few points. Thankfully, we do come back from 1-0 down and pick up a draw against Consadole Sapporo. Let's just go forward and see what that actually does to the table, because that could actually cost us top spot with how close Kaida Sanga are behind us. Let's just see what else has happened here on this match day. Hopefully can bounce back with a win over FC Tokyo, and we do stay top and actually extend our gap. Where's Koda Sanga? They've dropped points. Somehow they lost, somehow, to JF United Chivas. That actually ends up being quite a good point. Probably should have been a couple more, but thankfully we stay on top of the J1, despite that being a bit of an unlucky draw against Consadole Sapporo. And we're stopping in quickly before taking on Albirex Niigata in the second game of today's episode, because we have taken on FC Tokyo, and also I did let the KloppBot know about that refereeing decision. As you can see, once we make our way up a bit further, I tried to show him with that screenshot from the goal where the player was clearly not actually interfering with the goalkeeper. I've told Jurgen maybe you can try and sort that out, and he has said that's got him absolutely baffled. It shows that the pass was onside. I'm not too sure if he actually knows it was because Holy Shida was interfering with the goalkeeper. That might make him more angry. Hopefully he can avoid David Kuden game and sort that out, because really he needs to try and sort out the differences that those two guys have. And also I think that's cost us there a couple of points. But going back here to FM, and we've actually played a game off the back of that one that you saw first up in today's episode. I thought this was a good chance to get back on track, even though it was away from home taking on FC Tokyo. Unfortunately, we didn't really show up this first goal. 17 minutes in again, we do concede first. Yaya Silva there puts that one into the bottom right corner. Not good here to clear there, and we pay the price. And unfortunately, we didn't strike back. They grabbed a cushion goal with 12 minutes left there through Mateus Biancu, and we suffer a 2-0 defeat. To be fair, going and having a look at the stats, that was just one of those days where we didn't really turn up. So unfortunately, our form here again, off the back of a clash with Consadole Sapporo, has gone to mud. We suffer a defeat in the J1, and it does mean going to the second game of today's episode, we are still on top. Thankfully, Koda Sanga, they're also dropping points, but this now is a top of the table clash with Albirex Niigata, only 1 point behind us. They've just jumped above Koda Sanga on their goal differential, so a really big game coming up here. Second up in today's episode, probably could have actually showed you guys the Tokyo game instead of Consadole, but seriously, that refereeing decision, I haven't seen one that bad so far in FM this year, and the game's been out for about a year now, so yeah, I'm a bit filthy about that one, but hopefully we can get back into winning form in the second game of today's episode, because we're going to need to, otherwise we're losing top spot on the J1 as we take on Albirex Niigata. And here are the team sheets for another top of the table clash for us here in the J1. Couple of changes because players are on heavy workloads. So Tanabe comes in at right back, also Urakami alongside him at centre back, Shimoda in box-to-box midfield, and Yukitoma at right wing. To be fair, of late he's been going a bit better than Yamada has been. Anyway, there are Albirex Niigata. They are going with a 4-2-3-1 big game. Hopefully can get back on track and pick up 3 points at home. And it's taken a fair while for something to happen, but 20 minutes in a corner here in our favour. Going far post for us, but unfortunately Kojima, he comes out and claims that one for the away team in the all-white. Pumps that one deep. Tanabe does win that one. And the Saito plays it across the to Kanade. So thankfully are on the ball. Shimoda, I thought was going to give it away briefly. Thankfully just plays that pass in time. Interesting square, that one for Shimoda. Currently just looks like here struggling to make our way forward a little bit, but eventually Tanabe up to Figueiredo, make our way into the opposition half. Tanabe keeps that run forward going, so we now make our way into the final third. Shimoda, they're looking for a long-range screamer. To be fair, our box-to-box midfielders have come up with a few of those for us this season, but unfortunately, the goalkeeper there comes up with a decent save from the set piece. We're looking near far post, but again, Kashima comes out and he claims that one. That's the first real highlight of any substance, but this game so far, not up to much, still scoreless. And with just over 10 minutes left here in the first half, another corner for us here, and this time we take it short going there into the mixer. Tanabe runs onto it after someone there got took out. It looked like off the ball a little bit, but unfortunately his shot there got blocked. You can see now we are starting to get on the front foot a bit. 6 shots to 4, 3-1 on target, but unfortunately just nothing doing in that first half. They actually did come back at us a bit late there, did Albirex Niigata, but our chances with a much higher XG, but unfortunately that first half was a little bit average. Just looking out there at player ratings, and to be fair, most people out there doing a decent job, so we'll just tell them that they can do a bit better here. Hopefully in the second half we can kick on and pick up some much needed points. Otherwise that gap on top of the table, it'll close or it could disappear if Koda Sanga win. And we don't have to wait too long here for the first highlight of the second half, but unfortunately it's actually a free kick here to the away team, and they do take that one quite nicely. They can actually find some space here right if they want to, and they do through Fujiwara. Let's just see what he does there. Did stop for some reason, went in a fair bit of space. They try and loop that one over the top. Urakami heads it away, but to be fair, not too well because they've got the ball here inside of the final third. Big chance for them, but thankfully their striker there pulled that one well wide. Still scoreless, early stages of the second half. And it's time for us to make our first sub here, just shy of the hour mark. Solo's going okay on 6.7, but has dropped down to a red heart. Abe can come on for him off bench today. Tanaka as well as Dimas on heavy workloads. They're not featuring. Abe can play box-to-box midfield. Shimoda can go back to DM. Still 0-0, 60 minutes in. And a few minutes off back of that first sub, now there's a corner here in favour of Albirex Niigata. They go very close, the closest anyone's come to scoring so far in this game, but thankfully that one clatters there off the left-hand upright. And now we go down the other end here for a free kick of our own as Tanabe drops down to a red heart, but thankfully float that one far post there through Lee Hyun-ju, and Millard Kaur pops up with his first goal for the club, and it might be a big one as well, especially because at the same time, Kota Sanga take a 1-0 lead over Kashiwa Reysol. Let's hope those guys can come from behind like they did against us. But Tanabe here can come off for Figueiredo off the back of that opening goal, which gives us a 1-0 lead. And pretty sure the back of that previous sub, there is now a throw-in here about to happen for Albirex Niigata. We'll see what happens before we make some subs, because we've got here Lee Hyun-ju and Anhaloli who have gone down to red hearts, but nice play through there, but great tackle from Kanade. It looked like there Albirex Niigata, they'd get in behind us, but thankfully now we're on the attack. That pass there looking at, that would have been for Yokotomo. Not quite on the money, but thankfully we do get it back there and get it back out to Yokotomo. Figueiredo floats that one far post. Unfortunately, no one home, but we keep the ball. Shimoda tries to play that one to the mixer. It gets blocked, but Figueiredo gets it back for us. Now Abe on the volley with a shot. Shimoda also gets a shot off, but that time Kojima comes up with a good save for Albirex Niigata. Definitely starting to get on the front foot in this game. Unfortunately, still only up by a single goal. The corner not doing too much from, but Kaur does get that ball back for us. Urakami plays it back to Lee Hyun-ju. That shot though goes over the top right corner, and now it's time for us here to make our last couple of subs. Lee Hyun-ju can go off for Okai. Anhalori, let's take him off for Kabayama. And to be fair, Kinoshita today only going a bit fairly. We might take him off here for Yokoyama, so that'll be all our subs used. Still 1-0 up with just under 20 minutes left. And pretty much right off the back of those final subs, we've got the goal kick here to Albirex Niigata off the back of that chance that we did just have through Lee Hyun-ju. Thankfully, win that one back there for our centre backs. Urakami takes his time on the ball. Okai plays a nice ball forward over the top there to Yokoyama. It's a weak finish, but puts it away in the bottom left corner. Some instant impacts. He's only been on for about a minute of that so far. Here's our replacement striker, but there's our cushion goal. So thankfully, that should mean we're going to stay on top of the J1, and we can hopefully get a get now on Albirex Niigata. But that's not the strongest finish, but placement-wise, it's on point. That makes it 2-0 with 15 minutes left, albeit now down the other end. A free kick here to Albirex. They take it short. A good chance too. Some pretty slack defending. Ramirez, though, his shot does get saved by Higashi, who's now come up with a couple of good saves for us in this one. The corner, they do get some action from, but thankfully nothing too serious. It stays 2-0 as we make our way for the final 10 minutes of this game. But thankfully, coming up with some late goals here through Millard Kaur as well is Yokoyama. 2-0 up as we're about to make our way into 5 minutes of added time. A late free kick, which Yokoyama, he will take. Let's see what happens. Takes it short. Abe up there to Kabayama, who puts that one away. Their assistant referee hasn't put their flag up, so hopefully they will steal this one and make it 3-0. A couple of our replacements here actually doing some very good work off the bench, and that's going to steal here 3 points for us with that goal to make it 3-0. Nice routine there from a short free kick. Yokoyama, who got the goal to make it 2-0, took the free kick. Abe with a first-time pass, and thankfully Kabayama does just stay on. Quite a good finish from a tight angle, to be fair, but surprised he's tried to beat the goalkeeper that way instead of at his near post. But 3-0, and there's still highlights coming here into the last minute of added time, but thankfully these late goals do mean we are going to pick up all 3 points and stay on top of the J1. Urakami gets that ball back there from Higashi. Abe makes his way into the opposition half. Kabayama starts to make his way forward now down the left-hand side back for Abe. Nice ball over the top there for Yokoyama. We'll just wait and see if he was onside, because that one did look a little bit more suspect. Did find himself in a ton of space there. Did our replacement striker, but he is onside. He picks up a double. Some great impact from him. Unfortunately, Kota Sanga they make it 2-0 late there against Kashiwa Reysol. So a gap on top of the table, it will stay at only 1 point. But nice header there from Yokoyama. The ball from Abe is superb. Some really good bench impact from us here in this game, especially in the last 20 minutes or so. Go from only having a 1-0 lead to making it look a lot more flattering at 4-0 in the highlights. They do continue here from the restart. Albirex Niigata. Let's see if they have something to say about this poor finish they've had late here. In this game, they won't know because they give that ball to Shimoda with a loose touch. We start to make our way here into the opposition half pretty quickly. Might even get a chance here to make it 5-0. Figueiredo cuts inside, takes on the shot, but unfortunately that one straight into the path of Kojima. Surely it's time for the referee to blow his whistle. We're 1 minute over added time, and thankfully it took a while for us there to get into gear, but eventually we score 4 goals there inside the last 22 minutes. A lot of those did come through our bench players, a double Yokoyama as well. Esther Kabiyama, also Abe off the bench. He picked up a couple of assists, some great bench impact for us there. In that game, we pick up a 4-0 win. That gap at the top of the table, though, still only 1 point, but thankfully, grab a bit of a gap now on Albirex Niigata. So thankfully we bounce back there from that poor loss away at FC Tokyo and pick up a 4-0 win in the end there over Albirex Niigata. As I said, took a little bit of time there as well as a fair bit of bench impact, but in the end, it's a nice comfy win. And as you saw before, it does mean that we are now still on top of the J1 by a point over Kodo Sanga. To be fair, not much change there off the back of the first game that we played of today's episode. Did just have that little bit of a rough patch of form off the back of another game against Blimmin Consadole Sapporo, where the refereeing, it didn't help us, but thankfully we bounce back there and do stay on top of the J1. But that will do it for today's episode. So mixed form, but thankfully ended on a high with that 4-0 win over Albirex Niigata. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Just see what's coming up and when we'll come back for tomorrow's episode. Next up, Yokohama FC, they're bottom and not very good, so really should be beating those guys. Then Kashima, they're only going okay this season, hopefully can do the job over them at home. And Gumbo Osaka, not bad, but I think what we're going to come back for is either side of that very interesting J-League Cup tie, because for the first time we take on Yokohama F Marinos, and then our first derby against the Urawa Red Diamonds. 2 big games coming up in tomorrow's episode. We probably don't need to do a hot spots, even though that second game is away from home, considering that's the same city as we're based in here in Japan. But 2 big games coming up in the J1, and also we'll see if we can get a bit of revenge on Kashiwa Reysol for that bottle job at the end of last week, albeit might need to play some rotation players in that game because it does look like a pretty busy J1 schedule in the lead up to that League Cup clash. So until tomorrow for the Yokohama F Marinos as well as the derby against the Urawa Red Diamonds, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.